Welcome to 99% Pickleball, the podcast by Empower Pickleball. We're your hosts, Nikki Maldonado.
And I'm Mari Humberg, and we're talking about real pickleball beyond the lines. Nikki,
Woo,
fun
big
episode
one.
coming up. Yes,
Big episode coming
absolutely.
up. Oh my gosh. We got a lot of stuff. We got a lot of stuff beyond the lines today, but then we have a huge interview coming up. So yeah, what do we got beyond the lines? Let's start there, Mari.
Let's do it. So in this past week, we've seen more body bags than usual. Obviously, I'm talking about my world, the pro world, Nikki, but
Yeah.
maybe this is something kind of coming about in rec play and amateur play too. So why is that happening? How do you feel about that?
Look, here's how I feel about body bags. I think that they're totally fine as long as you don't go for someone's head. Now, here's my little asterisk that I'll say there, right? Rec players do not have enough, most rec players, right, do not have enough aim and control to know where the ball is going to go.
Fair
Pros,
point.
your people, Mari, know exactly where the ball is going to go every single time. And so when they're body bagging anything from here up, they meant it. They meant it. They knew what they were doing. When my people do it, it's because that's where the paddle happens to be, like, swinging uncontrollably.
Yeah.
We can't body bag properly. How do you feel about it?
I think it's something that, first of all, I do it in mix to push the guy off.
Mm-hmm.
I'm always trying to aim below the shoulder. If I ever hit someone high, it's not on purpose. It's a shank. It's something that I didn't mean to do. But it seems like the guys are kind of like in a contest right now of like who can do it to each other, who's tougher, So
Yeah.
I find it funny in the men's game. In mixed, I use it as a tactic. Thankfully, no guy has come after me. Nikki, believe it or not, what they do is they try to full bag my partner, which I feel kind of bad for, but I think it's also kind of funny that they receive the punishment for my doing.
Is it because your partner is Zane, though?
Okay, so when it's Zane, I don't feel bad at all. When it's Augie, I certainly feel
Okay.
bad. He's way too nice.
He's so sweet. He's such a sweetie. Okay, that's fair. So how would you feel if they body bagged you?
I mean, it's part of the game. I'm going to be mad, throw a little fit in the moment, but then I'll respect it later. It's
Yeah.
one of those things that it's a way to get a point. So
Yeah.
I do love when they try to go for it and I like dodge it, just smile at them, like you missed.
I feel like it's part of the game, right? A body bag is part of the game. So just like I think they're fine, but you know where you're aiming, right? You pros know exactly where you're aiming. So I think that they just need to be a little bit more thoughtful about it. I think we need to be cautiously body bagging. I'm not trying to see somebody take an eye out over here, although most pros wear their protective eyewear at least. But yeah, I'm cool with the body bag. I have a question for you, Mari. If you didn't let's say that you got annoyed by somebody, right? Somebody, maybe they keep going for Augie or whatever. How do you keep playing against someone you don't like? What are your tips for that? Like somebody that you just like, or maybe their personality or something like gets under your skin. What are your tips for playing against somebody that you don't like?
Yes, this is surprisingly a question that I get a lot. I think there's a lot of like feuding in amateur play and tournaments. So a lot of my students ask me this. I think the first thing is don't let that kind of determine how you're going to play. Your anger towards someone, some people feed off of anger pretty well. I'm not one of those people. So I just try to treat it as a normal match. It's like, hey, I'm going to try to hit my best shots to the right spots and play my normal game. And hopefully if I play well enough, I'm able to beat them, because the best reward for you and worse for them is you winning, right?
That's exactly right. Yep. That's the best way.
So more importantly, I'm trying to focus on winning and doing what is necessary to win the match rather than I'm going to try to take their head off,
Yep. All about that W. Focus on that W. I've seen my partners get like very frustrated with people that they don't like even before we start playing. It gets in their head and then they're just like crumble. I even feel like that sometimes. There's some people I'm like, oh, I don't want to play this person. But
be better, Nikki.
yeah, I can do better. I'm going to be inspired by Mari to do better. Body bags, I think we approve. I guess we approve in the pro world. We don't approve so much in the rec world unless you get maybe like 5-0 plus. Then you can body bag all you want.
Body bags as a strategy, not so much as a retaliation. Let's say that,
Okay.
If it's something that you're actually thinking through, I'm trying to push them off the line. I'm trying to hit them because they're dominating the match in some way right now. I'm okay with that. If you're doing it just to be petty, let's stop that.
No petty body bags. Okay. All right. I think I'm with it. I would love to hear comments from anybody listening. Talk to us about body bags. How do you feel about this? Pro body bags, rec body bags. I think they're different. Let's talk about, and then petty body bags. Let's talk about all of
Send
that.
us your petty body bags. We'd love to see them.
Send us videos of yeah, we'll take them. I mean, they are pretty funny. They are pretty funny to watch when somebody's like, "Oh, I caught a
Entertainment's high, for sure.
yeah, yeah. How about body bagging your partner? That's another conversation. Yeah, I'm sure you want to do that to Zane. Mari, actually, I want to talk about another topic, and I'm calling this turf wars. So there's an interesting thing that's happening right now in New York City, and I'm curious to know if you are familiar with this from other areas, and I would want to know if any listeners are familiar with this in their area. So shout out to Indoor Pickleball X, IPX. I'm wearing their gear today. They're a brand new pickleball facility that just opened here in New York City in Brooklyn. 13 courts. This is unheard of here in New York because in New York City, I think most people know we have no space. We have no space in this city. Oh my God, you're lucky if you get a hotel. You're lucky if you can fit your luggage in your room because that's just New York City. You pay like $3,000 for a tiny little closet, but we love it. So Indoor Pickleball X (IPX) just opened in a very small pickleball community. So there aren't very many clubs here. There are more opening up, but there's probably I think four in like four or five in a 5-minute walking radius. They're all pretty close. So what's up with these turf wars? People from other clubs, I've started noticing, get so protective of their club. They're so loyal. It's like they're scared to even play at another club. And God forbid they think about joining another club. They have to be like hush hush about it. Like,
Can't be
wait, are
seen.
you? Yeah, are you going to IPX? Is that and and what's crazy is okay, this club is massive, right? It's an amazing facility, but they've also got killer prices. Their prices, they've created an unlimited open play model. So you pay your monthly fee, and then you can go there as much as you want throughout the month. And I'm sure to so many people listening, they're like, "What do you mean that's novel? How is that novel?" Because that's what most people do. Not here in New York City. Here in New York City, you pay for a membership for a discount. This new pricing model, new quote
Yeah.
unquote new pricing model, is attracting a lot of people, and it's a great thing. But other people, other players from other facilities are so scared. It's like they don't want to get banished from their club. Have you heard about this? Is this a thing?
Yeah, so first of all, I'm a member of a club in Boynton Beach. Shout out the Replay Club, my favorite
I've
place
heard
to
about this
practice
place.
at. Yeah, it's pretty great,
Yeah.
Nikki. You'll have to make a trip. That's traditionally where I train at. But I'm gonna move away from Boynton Beach because there's a lot of outdoor play there too, and there are clubs, but I'm not so much involved anymore. Louisville, Kentucky. This happened.
Hmm. She said it
So
right again, by the way. Louisville.
Louisville, Kentucky. Shout out Cardinals. I
Yeah.
did go there, lived there for 8 years. So, anyways, yeah, clubs started opening up, and not only the Kentucky side, but for those that are bad with geography, it's right next to Indiana. So there's competition between the two states actually too. So
Mm.
there's clubs right across the river, the Ohio River,
Mm.
and yeah, I know we're doing a geography lesson here
My
today,
gosh.
but
Yeah.
yeah, there was a lot of competition between the clubs and a lot of pettiness going on too. So I did get to see that. Not a fan of it because, again, I mean, we just want to play.
Yep. Yep.
I don't want to be thinking about, am I going to upset this club if I go there? Or should I be a member of both? Or where do I need to become a member based on where my friends play? There's just so much to think about. So, yeah, I'm not a fan of the turf wars, Nikki.
I want to know if anybody's listening, have you experienced these turf wars in your community? Or, do you find that there's just enough, like everyone just wants to play pickleball? So they're cool with just going. That's how I feel about it. I'm like, look, I might have my home court that I go to most regularly, but I'm going to play anywhere and everywhere because I want to play pickleball. I'm going to play indoors.
Right.
I'm going to play outdoors, mostly indoors because outdoors is the wind sucks. But I do think that there's enough pickleball to go around. So I think you should just play wherever you want. Who cares? Yeah, these people are
Right.
crazy. Yeah, shout out to IPX because Mari, what do we have coming up with them?
I'm pretty excited for this, Nikki. So I'm actually heading to New York. Nikki and I are going to meet in person for the first time next
Woo!
week. I know it's coming up. I'll be in New York on Wednesday. MLP starts on Thursday next week in New York. Randall's, I believe, is where
Randall's
it's
Island.
taking place.
Yep.
Randall's
Yep.
Island. Thank you, Nikki. But yes, on the following week, so MLP is over on Sunday. I'm actually extending my stay in New York for a couple of days. I
She
have
can't get away from me. She wants to spend all the
I
time she can.
know, I
Yeah,
really do.
I don't blame you.
You're so right. Wow.
We're
See,
gonna
we're
be hanging.
starting to sound like each other at this point. We spend too much time on this video chat. But Monday, I have clinics at Lifetime in New York. Tuesday, I have clinics at Hell's Kitchen in New York. And Tuesday evening, We have a special event at IPX, which I'm really excited to see the new facility too.
Yeah.
Little promotional event for 99% pickleball. Nikki and I are going to be taking on whoever wants to challenge us.
Yeah, let's go. So it's our
Don't be
first
the
ever.
person that targets
Yeah,
Nikki.
if you do, I could take it. I could Murray saved me.
I believe it.
Yeah. I'll body bag you unintentionally. That's what'll happen. Oops. I think this is our first 99% pickleball event. So that's going to be an awesome, awesome event. But also, it's just going to be a time for us to hit the courts together. It'll be probably our first time. Well, maybe not our first time playing together, but for everyone to play against us. But Mari, you had a lot going on in New York. This is the city that never sleeps. Is that what you're trying to do here?
Yeah, yeah. I don't believe in sleeping, Nikki.
Oh my gosh. All right. So come and join us. No turf wars. Let's drop this nonsense. Doesn't matter where you play here in New York City. Come and join us at IPX. Join us wherever we are because at Lifetime, at Hell's
Absolutely.
Kitchen, any of these places that Mari is, because it's going to be a good time. And why not? Why not? Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
What else we got? We got anything else beyond the lines?
Yes, yes. We have our third topic. Nikki, this is one for me to call you out, okay? Since you seem like you're feeling good. You're just
Okay.
happy to be here. But look,
Yep.
you have too many paddles, okay? I'm staring at the paddles right behind you. I haven't looked at your face once, okay? All I can see is those million paddles. So I
We
have a
count
question
as a
for you.
nation.
What's your paddle count? Okay, no,
Mari,
jokes aside,
that is very personal.
very personal. Obviously, we have a really fun conversation coming up, and we'll introduce our guests here shortly. But how do you determine what paddle you're gonna buy? Why that paddle is the paddle for you?
Yeah.
And why do you have 7,000,000 paddles?
Yes. Yes. It's like maybe like 6 million.
Okay,
No,
gotcha.
yeah, calm it down. No, it's a great question. First of all, I don't really buy paddles. These paddles have been sent to me because I do Instagram paddle reviews. So all these folks are, wanting to get some video footage of it. So they'll send me these paddles to try them out. And I'm happy to do that. I have this conversation a lot with my friends. What paddle are you supposed to buy? How do you do that research? How do you even pick which paddle to use? All of that. Me personally, because I have so many paddles, I'm actually always looking for my favorite one. I have a unique swing. I don't split step. I am
We're gonna
all
fix
over the.
that.
Yeah, I know. You gotta help me out. I'm not a, mechanically sound pickleball player. And so I need all the help that I can get from my paddle. If it's too powerful, if it's too poppy, that ball is popping up and I'm getting slammed every single time. I need a lot of control. I need my paddle and I also tune my paddles quite a bit. With like weight and all of that. So I'm looking for a paddle that's going to fit my game. So I'm playing with all of these different paddles to find what's the one that fits me the best. So that's for me. I also listen to a lot of paddle review videos. I want to know about the different types of paddles. I want to know what's the difference between this one versus this one. What's the slight difference in the shape and the face and all of this stuff here. So I think a lot of people should listen to paddle review videos and take. Now, the one thing that I will say, I will put a little caveat here, is that I think reviewers commonly speak to reviewers. They speak to paddle nerds. And so I do think that there's an opportunity for reviewers to speak to a more broad audience and shift their language a little bit. I want to know, is this paddle really heavy? Is it play slow? Does how is the grit? Is it too gritty? Is it not gritty enough for
Too
spin?
gritty
I
is
want to.
not a thing, Nikki.
It is. It is. It is a thing. Ask James Ignatowicz. Apparently, he loves to go on a tirade about this. But what happens for me when a paddle is way too gritty, when it's like a mountain range of grit, it's just like it's almost like the hands, the claws just grab the ball, and I just send it right into the net. So I find that
We're
paddles
also
that are
gonna fix that.
we're gonna fix that. Okay, help me, just fix. Yeah, Mari's gonna get me from a three-ish, three something, 3.2, 3.3, 3.5, whatever, to a 4.5. Is that what we're doing? You're getting me to a 4.5 in a
I mean,
week?
whatever you want in a week. Okay, I got my work cut out for
Yes, she can do it. If she can do
She
it,
will be
yeah,
attending my clinics. So,
that's what I'm saying.
yeah, if you wanna
You're
come
gonna
hang out with Nikki and I, come, take my clinics in New York.
let's do it. Let's do it. But all of that to say, also my paddle count is I think just shy of 50 right now. But so to answer your question, that's my paddle count. The best way to answer your question is demo the paddle. That is the best way to know what is the paddle for you. And don't just play with it once, play with it a few times because you're going to
Mhm.
have to sometimes get used to the paddle a little bit. You might have to slightly adjust your swing because maybe generally it's good for you, but like you might still need to adjust. So I think, yeah, listen, get your information, look it up online, listen to the paddle reviewers, all of that. But at the end of the day, demo your paddle to find the best one for sure.
Or you can ignore everything that Nikki said and just buy the paddle that I play with because it's pretty great.
Or that, because Mari told you to do it, which I probably will. So yeah.
Shout
Yes.
out Adidas. I play with the
Yeah,
Addy
let's go.
Power, if anyone's curious. What is your paddle of choice right now, Nikki?
Right now, the Aereo Cyclone Hybrid. It's a new
Okay.
shape. I've traditionally played with the Aereo Cyclone elongated. I really like that. I call it the controlled boomstick, but then they made it even more controlled, less powerful, but more controlled in a hybrid shape. And I am loving it. Loving it.
Nice.
I'm actually liking this sounds this, I like a good mix of big and small brands. So I actually like the Selkirk Omni quite a bit right now. I think they did a great job. I'm actually not a fan of the boomstick. I think most people should not have a boomstick because it's way too powerful. I think Tama Shimabukuro is doing everyone a disservice by playing so well with a boomstick
He's
because he
actually
thinks,
not playing with it this week,
is he
Nikki.
not? I didn't know he's not playing with it. Oh, what's he playing
He
with?
showed up with a 6-0 this week.
What? How did I miss
Exactly.
this? Oh my
Well,
gosh,
he
I've
hasn't
been
played yet. We actually play him at 6:30 p.m. tonight. If anyone listens to the premiere of this is before the match takes place. So
yes,
turn on
watch it.
me versus Tama Shimabukuro tonight. Maybe I'll body bag him.
Poor Tama. Tama,
He's
my
fine.
boy,
I'm a
you
big
gotta
Tama fan.
yeah, huge Sama fan, but also go for it. But anyways, my point is that most people should not have a boomstick. So the Selkirk Omni is really great. And then the last one that I really like, I'm really liking, is the Yola Scorpius, a Pro 5 and a Brights paddle. I'm not a wide body fan, but I'm becoming a wide body fan. And I really like the way that plays. So those are my top three right now. But
It's
if you want
crazy
to
that you have a top 3.
how crazy is that? I also play we're probably gonna get in way more into this down the road in the season, but I play with different paddles depending on who I'm playing against. So if I'm playing against bangers, if I'm playing against men versus women, if I'm playing mixed, yeah, I use different paddles for different games. Oh yeah. Help me,
If
Mari.
anyone's not watching with the video, I want you to see the face that I just made when she said that. So I got a lot of work to do with Nikki. But
Got a lot of work.
anyways, Nikki, that's awesome. In the comments, I want to hear everyone's paddle count. If anyone has a higher paddle count than Nikki, you have free range to talk trash to her. So send
Bring it.
it. Let's hear it. And Nikki, I think it's time we introduce our special guests, two of them
Guests. Not one, but two.
this week.
And they are
Two.
both very special guests. Yes,
They
absolutely.
are. No, one of them is a special guest. Well, 2 special guests is a stretch. Okay, so Nikki, do
One
you
of them
wanna
was a
start
pity.
us off and introduce one
Yeah.
of the guests?
Yeah. The first guest is my boy Nico the Lefty, and I am a huge fan of Nico the Lefty. I'm going to go so far as to say he's the fastest growing pickleball content creator in the space. He just kind of came out of nowhere, exploded, and now he's running the game. So everybody knows Nico the Lefty. If you're listening, you don't know Nico the Lefty, get on it because he does really hot takes, really weird takes sometimes, many times. He does some reviews, very light. He does the reviews that I like. He speaks language of the commoners about how the paddle plays, not the techie stuff. And then he also does a podcast with Zane. So he's all over the place, Nico the Lefty. And he also doesn't move his feet when he's on the court. He's just a phenomenal pickleball player without ever moving. It's I've seen him play. It's very true.
I have to.
Yeah. So that's my boy Nico the Lefty, but we also have Zane Navratil. So Mari,
Yeah, I
yeah.
actually wore our Chicago Slice shirt today.
Represent. Let's
Okay,
go slice.
representing. I am in St. Petersburg, Florida, representing the Slice this week with my mixed doubles partner, Zane Navratil. Zane was one of the first people I met in pickleball. Unfortunately, I've just strongly disliked him ever since. I just love to give Zane a hard time. It's a pastime of mine, but if you don't know Zane, you are doing something wrong. This guy he was at the top of the game. Now, he's kind of trash, but he'll tell you that too. MLP Zane is a different kind. Zane is an awesome guy, okay? He does a ton of content. He has a YouTube channel. He has a great Instagram page. He's got the podcast. He had arguably the best spin serve back in the day when they were allowed.
Mm-hmm.
He's got the coolest wife and dogs, which is probably the best part about him. So
Not
yeah,
bad.
Zane, if you don't follow him or if you don't know who Zane is, make sure to give him a chance. His voice is a little annoying, but you're gonna get past that eventually, and you're gonna really enjoy what he's got to say.
He's got some good things to say. So Nico the Lefty, Zane Navratil, these guys are truly running the game. We love the social media game. We love hearing from them.
Absolutely.
And why don't we hear from them a little bit more? Let's get them in here.
Get him in. All right.
We have an extra special episode today. We have, I think, possibly, we'll definitely get into this, but I think possibly Mari's biggest fan on this episode today. And then I'm the biggest fan of the other person. So we'll figure out who that is. But if you watch Pickleball social media at all, you know these two guys because they are running the show. We have Zane and Nico here. Very, very excited to have you guys on the pod. Thank you guys for joining us.
I'm so glad that you said that if you follow Pickleball social media and not if you watch Pro Pickleball on Thursdays, because you've never seen Zane ever. If that was the intro. So
hold on. If you watched Pro Pickleball back in 2021, you would see me Thursday through Sunday.
Who watched
Staple.
Pro Pickleball back in 2021?
This is his mom.
That's neither here nor there,
Shout out
Mari.
Dimple.
That's neither here nor there.
5 people who watched Pickleball back in 2021. They know Zane very, very well. Okay. Awesome. Oh, man, we are getting started well. Mari, what's going on? How you doing?
I'm doing okay. As far away from Zane as possible right now. I see way too much of Zane. He keeps drafting me to his team. So, that's been stated a few times. But heading back to St. Pete next week to play again with Zane. So I will be seeing him very soon. Where are you all at right now? Home?
Zane looks like he's at home. Yeah.
Yeah, that's basically where Zane lives. That's Zane's cave. He lives there like 90% of the time doing content. I'm in Utah right now for
Utah.
Yes, for my daughter's college orientation over the summer. So here for like 2 days. But love Utah. So she's gonna be a Utah Ute come August, and we're excited.
This is the most. Look at Mari. If anybody's watching, you can see Mari's face in response to the fact
You
that
have a kid in college?
That's exactly it. Yep.
Sorry, you were following my surprise here, right?
Yeah.
So you have a kid that's more mature than Zane?
Oh yeah,
that's
most
a great
of them
question.
are.
It's a toss-up. Depends on the day. It's a toss-up.
Okay,
oh my gosh,
fair.
Nico, nobody believes it. Nobody believes it. That's insane. That's insane.
I'm the youngest looking 56-year-old person you've ever seen.
That's doing pretty good. Now we know why he doesn't move on the court. There we go.
That's right.
Now we
I have
get
no
it.
knees.
There we go. No knees. All right. So, guys, we have you here to talk less actually about pickleball and more about this crazy social media stuff that we're doing here because you guys are truly running the game. So talk to us about just like your initial takes. I'll start it off with a big question. How are you feeling about social media, pickleball social media right now in its current state?
I would take that one on. I mean, I focus a little bit more on the pro side of things, obviously. And Nico, I think part of the reason why, I wanted to have him as part of the Pickle Pod podcast was he does a really good job of asking interesting questions that I feel like apply outside of just the little pro pickleball bubble. But I can say that the state of the pro pickleball bubble union is extremely strong. I just noticed this with all the stuff that, that I'm doing on a week in, week out basis. And there's a pretty clear like upwards trajectory of people consuming pro pickleball content, which honestly, I feel like there wasn't so much of a market for until we kind of made it with these recap videos. Like people were watching the videos themselves, but nobody really cared about, some of the backstory because nobody really knew that existed somewhere or another. So at least from my side, I'm like, man, the desire for pro content is only going up and up and up.
And when you say pro content, you mean like actual footage of them playing, or you mean like their personalities, their social media personalities?
I mean, people watching stuff related to pro pickleball. Like for the most part, I'm talking about the weekly recap videos that I'm doing, right? Kind of like, hey, this is what happened at the weekend. This is the controversial call. This is who sucked. This is who played well. This is who cheated. That type of stuff.
Zane, how long ago did you start this? Because I hate to admit this, okay? And I hate that this is going to be out there, but you were one of the first people I saw videos of. And I was like, this guy's a clown. Let me find someone else. But anyways.
But nobody else existed, so you're stuck with me.
Right, exactly. I mean, I started at the end of 22. When did you start making instructional videos or anything related to pickleball content at all?
Instructional videos, funny story. I had Chris Olsen, my nemesis, making my YouTube videos before he even started the pickleball studio, or it might have been like around the same time that he started the pickleball studio. So back in 2021 and probably early 2022, I started my channel all with instructional stuff, and Chris helped me filmed and edited the first 2 batches of my YouTube videos, which is probably like the first, 6 months of content or so. He got too big with Pickleball Studio, and now, we have permanent and deep-seated hatred for one another. That's the origin of the
The
beef.
origin story.
The never before
Ooh.
told origin story of the beef. But I would say I kept doing instructional stuff, got somewhat uninspired by the social media game when it came to instructional stuff, meaning like I feel like I put a lot of good stuff out there and I didn't feel like, all right, now I've got to make the same video but optimize it for YouTube. So I just kind of kept following my own interests, which brought me into doing those pros versus 5-0s videos and then just doing more commentary on what's going on in actual, pro pickleball. So those recap videos I've only been doing for about a year. The first ones started on YouTube with like 5,000 views, and now they're, consistently 30,000 for each one, which is cool to see because, like, again, that sort of thing didn't really exist out there before I started kind of recapping the weekends.
Oh my gosh. Well, Zane, we understand, that your beef now, we get it. But I also got to say that Chris Olsen is probably just like punching the air right now that he didn't get started on these recaps the way that you did, that there was that market for it. But, one thing I will say is that I find that both of you, Mari and Zane, are very unique in that pickleballers are not often very articulate. They're not very well spoken, especially on camera, on a microphone. And so the two of you have found a really great opportunity to like get in there. I don't know, Zane, that sounds like nobody else was doing it, but I don't know that anyone else necessarily could do it at that time. So that's a compliment to you, Zane. I know that you're not
I
used to those,
appreciate
but
it.
that was a compliment to you. Yeah, Nico, how about you? I know that you're probably no villain origin stories, but how about you getting into this whole crazy thing?
Yeah. I don't have any villains other than my old bosses in tech that I hated for forever and wanted to leave.
Familiar, very
The people
familiar with
that
those.
always said that I was part of their family, which is the biggest lie ever told. And if you're ever working in any job ever, and they used to say that you are a family, run. It's crazy. That's manipulation. At its finest. But anyway,
Drinking the Kool-Aid.
yeah, exactly. Benefits are great though. For me, I just like decided one day, like, hey, I really like pickleball. Kind of consumes a lot of my life. And what I found was that there was not a lot of personality in pickleball. Like, I'm a big fan of like Bill Simmons and The Ringer for the last 15 years, following Bill Simmons from like ESPN to Grantland to The Ringer and all the different people that talk pop culture, that talk sports, that you love to listen to, even if they are, not your sideline reporter, kind of like the anti-Zane, right? So that's what I always feel like, is that Zane is professional. He has a script. He has, a team. He has everything that makes, fantastic, like ESPN level content for pickleball, which is unseen. And I thought I want to do the exact opposite and figure out how can I say whatever I want to say, be exactly who I am anytime, all the time, not have to have a nice camera, still don't have a nice camera. I don't understand how to use the DJI mic. I have one. It's sitting in my bag somewhere. It's right here, right? But of course, I'm not using it right now because I don't know how to plug it in. So
You don't have to plug it in.
but there you go.
There you
These
go.
are the things I don't know.
Mari the tech wizard.
But if you guys like sports and pop culture, there are two people that I followed outside of pickleball. One's name is Shea Serrano and the other is Mallory Rubin. And anyway, they're fantastic. And I could just listen to them talk about anything. And so I thought, I'm going to go in and just speak my mind and figure out if I can find this like untapped niche of pickleball. And to Zane's point is like, there's a ton of instructional content, like a ton of it, right? There is people talking about pro pickleball, people doing paddle reviews. You got the Chris Olsens and the Bradens
Nerds.
and the nerds. Yeah, exactly. And they do a great job of what they're doing. And I just thought, how can I be the everyman that doesn't have any actual talent, but like, goes in and talks and people relate to? And so that's what I did. And I just started one day deciding that I was going to like post 3 times a day, as much as Jimmy Miller hates that. And I think honestly, that's what I want to see more of in the pickleball space. I want to see more people that just have unfiltered. And when I say unfiltered, I don't necessarily mean like aggressive or
Right.
outlandish takes. I just want it to be like raw and like, hey, this is how I feel about the space, and I want you to like me just like for who I am versus I need to spend 10 hours creating content, or I need to, have the perfect take. It's just my take.
Yeah, like
That's pretty
just
cool.
real and authentic. Yeah, exactly.
And to be fair here, I think Zane and I, with obviously we have responsibilities in the pro world, but we are as unfiltered as we could possibly be within the range that we can be. Now, I love that Nico and Nikki, you don't need to have the filter that we do. So we appreciate that. Okay. That's honestly my favorite type of content. I follow very little of actual pro content. I refuse to listen to anything that Zane ever says because I just talk to him. If there's anything relevant, he should just call me about it. So, anyways, that's pretty cool. Okay, so follow-up question here. Obviously, Zane, you're saying that I love to hear about the numbers of the pro videos that you're getting views on because that's just very interesting to me to see the growth. But the average pickleball consumer is still not very into pro, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm in Brazil right now, and I think more people might know who Nico is than Zane. And that's pretty cool. If you think about it, just like where is the visibility and where is the value for average pickleball players in watching content right now?
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, I'm catering to the people that care about pro pickleball, right? And just stuff that's entertaining and interesting and keep them up to date. And I think that, yeah, I'm not going for overall pickleball market, right? And so the interesting thing is, I'm more bullish on pro pickleball than ever before. I didn't know whether pro pickleball was going to take off in terms of like people
Right.
watching and caring, but I think that that's a base that slowly and gradually grows, and I'm seeing that too.
If Zane had his own podcast, it would be called 1% Pickleball, right? So like you
Yeah,
guys are 99%
exactly.
pickleball, so am I. Like we're like top of the funnel that feeds to Zane. And so like I think Zane also probably relies on a lot of people like us to get people like interested and curious about pro
Right.
pickleball. And then once they're in the waters, Zane attacks and he's there and he's got them and he gets them hooked. So I think that it's good. Like I don't think he's necessarily like the person that, the missionary coming to go, recruit everybody to pro pickleball. But once they're there, like the content, what used to be terrible and now it's less terrible because Zane is making fantastic content.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. Like I've always kind of thought that even with the instructional stuff, right? Like you've got people who bring people into instructional. I think about like Tanner and Enhance do such a good job of like getting those people. I see some of their videos and they're like, something so basic like move your feet when you're hitting a dink. And I'm like, what like, how does nobody ever like, but they're appealing to the people who may have never heard that. Like it'll drive me crazy. They'll get tons and tons of subs and views and all that stuff.
My split step video did incredibly well, and I could not believe it. I was like, I thought this was just one basic one to like move on to the next one, right? This was more of a setup video for my follow up, and people were like, "Oh my gosh, this is life changing." I was like, "Whoa!"
I think I probably commented that. Yeah, that was probably me.
By the way, Nico, I'll send you that footwork video on how to move your feet when you dink. I'll send that to you when we get offline.
I might just start tagging you in the videos that I think you would value, Nico. I think I have some good ones for you. But
I need it. Please do.
No, but it's kind of crazy to think that saying, things that we think are very simple about moving your feet. We also come from tennis. We know the requirements of having to do certain things. Like split step to me is so natural, right? Every time the ball's coming off of my opponent's paddle, I'm immediately split stepping. Yeah. These people are like, wow, that's why you look so balanced and I look like a baby giraffe, Like that's kind of the comments that I'm getting. That's always interesting to see.
A split step is not something I've thought about for probably 20 years. Like realistically.
That's my point. You don't think about it because it's natural, but you're doing it.
Yeah.
And what's wild is like, I mean, this is what's so funny about 99% pickleball is like the majority of pickleballers out there have never had a one-on-one coach, right? They've never had that like direct attention. Maybe they've taken some clinics, but a lot of them are literally just walking out of the court, whatever paddle they have, probably a boomstick because they found out that it was the, coolest one out there. They should not have a boomstick and are just hacking away at it, but not even thinking about their feet, not thinking about anything like that. But Nico, I'm curious to hear from you, from being outside of the pro world, although you're obviously a big pro fan, but like, what do you see as the disconnect of what's keeping the rec? I mean, I'm assuming you see it like what I am experiencing at my local course. If I ask somebody to name, 3 pros, 5 pros, right? They might get past 2, maybe. So what's the disconnect? What are you saying?
Zane, Navratil, Mari Humberg.
Yeah, always. But the opposite order. Yeah.
I think there's like, I don't know, there's a couple things. The one thing that comes to mind that we'll probably never solve is I think people like to play pickleball more than they like to watch pickleball. So it's like the only sport, like not even tennis, where I like to play tennis. And, I would say older people play tennis throughout, their lives, but like a lot of them would rather watch pro tennis. Nobody's playing flag football, as an adult, right? They're not playing soccer, so I just think the culture is play more than it is watch. And especially because, these matches are played at the prime time of people playing pickleball, right? They're like, it's like happening at 10 a.m., right? And which is the weirdest time to watch sports. And also every other sport in history is being played between like 4 p.m. and 10 p.m. Pacific time, right? Like, so, or, 7 o'clock Eastern time. And our sport is all played in the morning when everybody's playing pickleball. So I think one, that's an issue and that people just want to play. And two, I just think as like the production and the storyline gets better, we're going to have more people. But like, I don't think people necessarily just watch LeBron James because of his greatness on the court. I think they watch because he's a compelling figure. Michael Jordan is a compelling athlete with stories and backstories and history and demons and problems and adversity. And we don't do a very good job at all of making any of these players relatable or telling their story. We spend most of the time on the broadcast explaining what a dink is in the kitchen and the Ernie, So the more that there are backstories and origin stories and all that stuff to these players, I think the more that people will be compelled to continue watching when they do watch, right? So you have to get them to watch first, but once they start watching, you have to understand, like, I like the fact that Anna Bright couldn't beat this person and then she did this and then she did that, right? Or whatever, I don't know. And then the other hard thing is that, like, and I hate to say this, I feel like I'm, Ben John's enemy number one, but like he was like the face of the sport for like a ton of time, and he is the least compelling person ever. I always say, like, if MLP could choose anybody else to be the best pickleball player in the world, they would. Like, if they could have chosen
Well, actually,
Tyson or Hayden, anybody.
It seems like I think it's a pretty good thing that I think Anna Lee, at least in the culture, is clearly taking over that spot.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
I think that she's definitely surpassed him as the face of this sport. And I think something that's huge is she is branching into pop culture, going to these Nike events, like going on TV, doing all this other stuff. Like,
SBs. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Like, I think that that's actually, I don't think it can be understated how important that is, I think, for bringing people into the pro game.
What's interesting about that, I totally agree. I think I actually have a take that Anna Bright is just as important for the sport as Anna Lee, because Anna Lee is doing exactly what you're talking about. She's expanding the sport beyond the lines of pickleball. Right? She's introducing non-pickleballers even to this sport. And then, of course, rec players who don't necessarily know about the pro game. Like, she's bringing so many other people in. Anna Bright is doing what I think exactly, what everyone's missing right now in the sport. She's like the total antithesis of Ben John's personality wise. She's got so much character, so much charisma, and this everything that you're saying. I mean, quirky as it is, right? She's bringing in rec players who already like pickleball, who didn't like pro pickleball, because she's giving them even beyond. I think that origin story is super, super important, Nico, what you're talking about, but she's actually taking that even further and making us want to know more about her life, her weekly blogs, all of that stuff. If you watch any of my content, you're going to see a lot of this, but another opportunity for the boys to learn from the girls, for sure. Absolutely. Yeah. Mari, you're happy about that one.
Yeah, well, Zane just learns daily from me. He's got to learn from someone. He's got an awesome wife, which I don't know how he secured that. So shout out Jenny. The best
long game.
Navratil for sure. The long game. Well, the dogs are pretty cool too.
I was
but
gonna
yeah,
say I'm definitely top 4 Navratil in the household.
There's only 4 for whoever is listening here, just to make sure that's understood. Yeah, no, that's a cool angle too, Nikki. I do think the personality thing coming out. I try to leave my errors in my videos because I don't like editing them out. Like, I want to leave errors. I want to seem human. I try to interact with fans and just with people that want to talk as much as possible. And I think that's something that's missing. Nico and Zane, how do we feel about the influence? Obviously, we are all influencers in our own way, but how do we feel about the influence that we have in pointing people towards the right gear? And how do we feel like that's going to change over time? Because Nico, I actually did watch one of your videos because I was very excited to hear about this. The one that I know I'm going to admit to.
Why did you say it like that? I
admit to
actually did watch one of your
No,
videos.
I just watched very little pro pickleball content. That's why I said that. I refuse to watch any of Zane's, but I watched Nico's because I saw the title in it. It caught my attention. So great job with that. It was the one about how you made your money throughout the month and the breakdown of numbers, because I was curious about that. And obviously, the majority of your money is coming from, for those that didn't watch that video, go check it out. Nico does a great job breaking this down. But the majority of your money came from commissions. Okay, so obviously you're doing something right there and you're not the only one doing it. So do you think that that's kind of the route that influencers are going to take in the future? Or just, I wanted to hear both of your takes on this because Zane, I know that you have a pretty big influence as well on what people buy.
Yeah, great question. I mean, I think for influencers, I think that the like affiliate marketing and commissions is like by far the easiest way to get into making money in pickleball. And then eventually there's like, sponsored posts and ads, and there's like you can like white label or UGC content, like you can give, authorize your content to somebody else to use. And I'm all for all of this, right? And so I think the biggest thing is that there are some like media outlets or places that don't do a very good job of disclosing the relationship, right? Like for example, like a place that does a lot of affiliate marketing is Wirecutter. Like if you ever like were looking for like stuff to buy, and on the front of every single page it says like we get commission from these links and they support the channel or whatever. Or if you listen to like Chris Olsen, it says like, in every YouTube video, hey, we're sent this paddle for free. There's no expectation, but the code does help our channel, right? So I think that we need to make sure that we crack down on media outlets that maybe don't mention that. So that kind of gets tricky because I think it's like a unbiased source, and maybe it might not be. But I do think it's a great way for influencers to start. And I think for me, what my thoughts were is like, as a consumer, you have to figure out who you trust, right? And so I think that a lot of that's on them versus on the influencer. And like an influencer can talk about every paddle and say that they're great, right? But if you say every paddle is awesome, then no one knows what to buy because you say the same thing every single time, right? And so in that video, I break down like there's like $7,000 or $8,000 that month on affiliate marketing, and a majority of it comes from like 2 paddles because they're my favorite paddles, right? And so shout out RPM, but they sent me a paddle and I didn't know who they were, but them like they're like, oh hey, we want to send you a paddle, and I just basically ignored it. And then they're like, oh yeah, this paddle is created by James Maldonado. I'm like, oh, interested, let's send it out. And I liked it. I loved it. I made a couple authentic videos where, this is where I'm much different than Chris Olsen. The first video that I made about the RPM paddle was like, it basically went like this. I'm reaching out to the nerds here. I was like, this paddle is like the elder wand of pickleball paddles, right? Like this is the paddle that Lord Voldemort wants to play with. Like you get it and you have so much power that you just want to Avada Kedavra everybody you're playing with. And then I was like, it's a paddle for Slytherins, not a paddle to make friends. But it's okay because I'm married. My wife said I can't have any friends. And that's what the review was. Basically, 45 seconds. I didn't say anything about swing weight or twist weight or anything.
Yes.
I don't know anything about it, but this is how it made me feel. I'm going to share it. And then like it just exploded. And then like everybody was buying RPM paddles, right? And then I had a similar video with the Aereo Cyclone because I love the sound that the Cyclone makes, and it makes you feel like really powerful. And so I was like, this is like Indiana Jones's whip, and like, it's the most fun I've had. I'm not saying it's the best paddle. It's definitely the most fun I've ever played with. And so I get a ton of sales from those. And then other paddles I don't like, I either don't review or, and you can kind of figure that out. And so I think there is a responsibility to be authentic and to tell the truth, but also just know, I think everybody has to understand. And this is where like digital literacy and now like social media literacy needs to come into play for the general audience of like, this is how the backend system works. They get the paddle, they review it, there's a code, you use it, they make money. Now figure out if you can trust whoever that person is.
What's interesting about that is the language that you just used, the Slytherin, the Indiana Jones, that actually translates to more people than swing weight and balance point and all of that. So it's this is something that those paddle nerds really need to learn, and then they're going to stay in their lane always. But I'm just like, I just don't understand. Sometimes people will listen to them spew those like specs and just think that they're credible for that, but they don't know what any of that means. So I like your style better. I think that's better for the growth of the sport. Zane, sorry, what were you going to say?
No. I think Nico does an awesome job of that. Again, I think you go into way too much detail on certain things that just don't matter, and I think that's a huge problem actually with the paddle reviewers. Like you get lost in the weeds of things. Like, okay, at the end of the day, like, who gives a crap what the I don't know what the swearing policy is on your show, but I would have said something different.
Go for it. Send it.
Send it.
Words that have never come out of my mouth before. Who gives a crap? Who gives a shit what the like swing weight is? Is this a good paddle or not? So I think that there's actually a really interesting shift in social media because I've been in it. And I think this is a shift coming from consumer preferences as well as the social media algorithms. So I think when influencers were first a thing, they were like the closers, right? The people who
Mm.
sold the deal for you, right? And I think Nico is still maybe kind of like a closer in that regard. But like sponsored people who are only ever promoting, let's take me for paddle tech, I've shifted from an influencer be like, hey, I use paddle tech, you should too, to hey, I use paddle tech, you should too. I feel like I grow awareness now for the different brands that I use, but I feel like influencers, if you will, have lost that credibility
More
because so many
power.
people are just doing it for money, right? The good influencers should theoretically be the ones that are, only using products that they like. But like, there are plenty of people who use whatever and promote whatever product that they just get paid the most from, including paddle reviewers.
Mhm.
So it's been
Yeah.
interesting to see, like, early on with, there were a couple of codes that, generated hundreds of thousands of dollars in sales directly from me. All of my codes are now doing far worse than ever before because I think sponsored people have shifted
Mhm.
from, again, that like the person you go to buy from to, okay, the person you get awareness of the brand from.
Mhm. Yeah.
Right. I think that's a pretty interesting thing there, Zane, because I think about this a lot from someone that worked in a business prior to this and think about how to make money, right? And for the brands, I'm always curious if it's worth the payment that they pay the pros, because how much are we selling in comparison to influencers? And I'm not saying brands don't stop paying us, please, but really, are people going to use the paddle because we use it, or are people going to use the paddle because it makes sense for them, right? And something that I'm always curious about, like I get so many messages, and Zane, you probably do too, about how do you set up your paddle? It's like my paddle setup is not going to work for you. This
Yeah.
is not.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm always like, first of all, I don't put any weight on my paddle. I am like the exception in pro. I pick the paddle
You
up
and me
out of the
both,
box
actually.
and I play with it. Yeah. Okay, great. So Zane and I pick up the paddle and we play with it. And that's rare. I switch out the grip, put on my
Yeah,
hexacore,
you
put
have
on
to.
an over grip, but like that's it. And we're going out there and we're playing. But I'm always interested because they think they're gonna copy my shots based on my setup. It's practice that's going to get you there, right? But I do think that the value that you all are bringing by actually talking about what you like about the paddle, people ask me, "Oh, what's this? How's this paddle built? Or
Mm.
what's in it? Or what's?" I don't know. Do you know, Zane?
Yeah, like enough, but like I used to actually like 2020 through probably midway 2022, I would buy every single interesting paddle that came onto the market, and I knew everything about paddles to that point. And then I feel like when it really exploded, it just got like a full-time job to even try all these different paddles. So like I know enough to be dangerous, but honestly don't care anymore. Like, Paddle Tech will send me a bunch of prototypes, and I used to be like, all right, what's the honeycomb size? What's blah 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 blah? Where's the foam?
The
I'm
cell
like, I
side.
don't care. I just go hit it. And honestly, I find that like just going and hitting and seeing how it does without knowing, like a blind test is so
Mm.
much better than actually knowing.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. Yeah. It's funny. I like that is probably the thing. That's one of my biggest paddle review pet peeves is the like Gen 3, Gen 4, but whatever conversation. Cause I'm like, most people, like the actual makeup of this thing don't know, don't care, and are never going to. So that's even, in my opinion, that's even worse than specs. Like the makeup of the paddle, spending so much time talking about that. I'm like, these people don't know. Just how does it play? How does it hit? How does it feel? So I totally agree with that. Mari, you
We
said
should
something
do
that
a. Oh, sorry.
what?
I'm gonna tell Paddle Tech to just go Gen 1 million paddle. The next one's just
Yeah,
a Gen 1
yeah,
million.
say
Let's
it.
just end the
Say it.
conversation.
Yeah, I like that.
1 billion. Yeah. Seriously,
When
let's do that. Yeah, that's exactly right. And then you're gonna sell more
Gen
hotcakes. Yeah.
1 million billion. Little Austin Powers reference for your Tuesday morning. Let's go.
Yeah, we get it. We're old enough. We get it. That's gonna sell more than a boomstick. So, Mari, you said something that reminded me, and I wanted to ask these guys about this. Parasocial relationships. Are you guys familiar with these? Parasocial relationships. So this is where people follow you online and they feel like they know you. Like personally. And they will, I mean, Mari, you said this, someone coming up to you asking you for an autograph. How do you guys, this pickleball social media community is so small. It is like crazy small. It feels big, but it's so small. So how do you interact? When I talk about parasocial relationships, does that like ring a bell? Do you like feel that? Do you experience that at all?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like I put my wedding video on my YouTube channel so that I could write it off as a business expense. So a lot of people
People
watched
feel like
that.
they went to your wedding.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. But no, there are some people who just know anything and everything, and I don't know, it's interesting, and they'll ask me like how Murray's doing, how Jenny's doing, all this stuff, and I think I don't know. I think it's cool, and honestly, I feel like I've got kind of nothing to hide, so like I just put my life out there, and yeah, people either love it or hate it.
So
But yeah,
you're
it's
cool with
always
it. You're just like,
interesting.
yeah, somebody comes up to you, talks about your wedding, and you're just like, whatever. Like, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like I'm usually surprised because that doesn't happen like all the time. But there are definitely some people who will like throw some little tidbit out there, and I'm like, wow, okay, how'd you find that? But all right.
It's flattering for sure. Nico, I'm sure you get a ton of this.
Well, I mean, so if I'm understanding the question correctly, I'm still, trying to define paranormal, but
Parasocial.
Parasocial.
Paranormal
Very
is a
different
whole
words. Very different
conversation.
words.
But, like randomly I'll get people that'll just be like what they ask either of me or whatnot, or what they invite me to do is to me always bizarre. Like, and they're like, "Hey, Nico, why don't you can come to Denver and stay at my house, and then we'll do this thing." And I'm just like, I don't know who you are. You're a stranger. I could get, murdered. Like, so probably the answer here is no. Or, or because Zane roasts me online occasionally or all the time. Like, I also get people
All
that
the
talk
time.
to me the same way Zane talks to me, and I'm just like, okay, we're like not friends, So that'll happen. I don't get it, but to me, for the most part, I kind of like, it's like baffling and confusing without for me feeling super dangerous.
Mm.
Yeah, you know what I mean? But like, I'm sure like, this happens to like actual real celebrities all the time where it's like very scary,
Yeah.
dangerous, and creepy. But like, I'm so like D-list influencer celebrity level that like, I enjoy people talking to me. And at this point, like I kind of enjoy the familiarity. Like, oh, hey, like my goal is for you to feel like you're kind of a part of my life. And if you like don't necessarily understand how to, you know, divide the fact that I'm not actually your best friend, like, and you think I am, at the end, maybe I'm actually doing a better job than I thought I was. So that's, like I said, to Zane's point, putting his wedding video on, that's his fault. You know what I mean? And this is probably, some of it's my fault more than it is the people that don't understand, the dynamic.
I mean, I saw it. We were there together in PPA Newport, and I saw obviously like, lots of people following Annalie Waters, a couple people following Ben Johns, and then I saw a bunch of people following you, Nico. People like going and trying, like pushing each other, trying to get pictures with you. And I just find it so interesting. But I think that that's a really great point. What's particularly curious about parasocial relationships within the pickleball world, right, is that like this is such a small world. You do travel to so many different places, and you will meet people who maybe you've been talking to online or commenting a bunch, and then all of a sudden, like Zane, the first time that we met, you looked at me and you're like this is so weird. Like we had seen each other online, all of this stuff, and I was also like, how the hell does Zane know me? But
That's true. We had a parasocial relationship. I was like,
yeah,
I recognized. I'm like, oh my god, I had no idea you were showing up to the clinic too. So that was cool.
yeah, I drove through the snow. There's like tremendous amounts of snow here in New York. I see it as building the pickleball community in a really positive way, because I don't find that there's many worlds of this that still exist, that they're still this small. And I think Nico, you hit on something that's really great, and I think more content creators could do this as well, is to make people feel like they're your best friend, basically, to feel that way.
I have this one fan, and you should see the way she talks to me. Her name is Leah Jansen, and like I see her in person, like, hey, fuck you, buddy. I can't believe what she says to me in real life. It's insane. So
she talks to you the way Zane
Have you been
talks
holding
to you?
that one in?
Yeah. So, oh gosh,
that was good.
Here's the
Hopefully,
thing.
most
Of
people
all the
understand that reference.
of all the people that need a podcast, Leia needs one for sure, and she just needs to talk.
We need to have
the
her
way
on
that she
here.
does.
Leia, here's your formal invite to join us on the pod.
Whenever
Please.
you want, too. Anytime you want. You need a microphone, you just let it out, then come and join us anytime. We need video footage of
Don't
that.
text
We
me at
need
5
that
a.m.
video footage from Newport where she just like went in on you. How does nobody have footage of this?
The hard thing is I have the footage, but it was on Pickleball TV. There's no image of me, so you don't know what's happening. You just
Yeah,
see
you
her
know.
in the stands going like this. And then my favorite part is like to commentate what she's saying because I like remember so vividly. And then my favorite part is when you see her walking back towards her bench and what she's saying is, so you can tell Zane that he can get the fuck out of here. And you just see her hand like this. And I'm just like, yes, she did it. It's obvious. And it was perfect because, yeah, she felt like she could
That's
say that to
amazing.
Zane, to me, whatever. And I'm sure she can say whatever she wants. So, you know, but yeah, that was a fun experience with one of my fans.
You should have done like a John Boy breakdown of that, like the lip reading.
Oh my God.
Zane and I have been talking about this. We need to bring some John Boy into pickleball. I think he does an incredible job. I have never been more entertained by baseball than watching John Boy, and it's hard to be entertained by baseball. So shout out John Boy, best content creator out there, my inspiration, and we should definitely do some voiceovers and some things you missed that you never would have seen before. I think Zane, we need to bring
That's a
that
good
back
one.
too. So,
That's a good one.
hey, I do have another question before we get to our non-pickleball question, because that's what we like to end our podcast with, okay? But Nico and Zane, let's say an amateur that has just gotten to a 3-5 level is looking to actually improve. Who do they watch? Who do they not watch? What do they buy? Give them the 101 guide into welcome to intermediate pickleball. Here's what you do.
Okay, so Chris Olsen's looking to improve, and he is.
Someday he'll get better.
So here's the thing. I really believe that you have to understand what your bottleneck or what your like problem is. And I don't think there are so many people that just don't know what they're actually doing. And I don't think you can really know until you've watched yourself play. It's something that you and me take for granted that every single one of our matches is online and we can go review afterwards and we can see like, oh, I was sitting way too heavy on the back end. That's why I was getting chicken winged the entire day. Or my ready position was way too low. Or I missed 19 forehand dinks, something like that. We also are really good at kind of knowing what's going on in the moment and adjusting because we've done this for forever. But so many players just get so like focused on the game, which is a good thing. That's exactly what you want to be when you are actually playing. But afterwards, they couldn't tell you what actually went down in this match or why somebody won or somebody lost. So I would say any good improvement starts with your plan, and your plan starts with, all right, what is actually going on? And that only comes from watching yourself. So I really think that the start of this conversation for any level has to be filming yourself.
Which is one of the most painful things
So
to do.
painful.
No, you guys, no. You guys think it's painful. The commenters, the 99%.
It's so hard for me to watch my pro pickleball self play professional pickleball on TV, you know, on a global audience. No.
Nico, I don't look so graceful playing pickleball. I don't look like a ballerina like Zane out there, okay? I'm hacking
Does look like a
balls. I'm doing some
ballerina.
weird stuff. He does look, it's a ballerina. Yes. Yeah,
Very light on his
absolutely.
toes.
He's like a combination between Peter Pan and Tinkerbell. Like that's what I think. So
Take it.
We
Peter
need to
Pan
make
was
him a
actually
shirt.
my nickname for a while because I wore those leggings back in the day in like 2020, 2021. So people
That's
were
good high
calling
school.
me Peter Pan.
Did you say in high school?
That's what I assumed when he said leggings. Can you imagine saying leggings in high school?
Yikes. No. Couldn't do that.
But no, you know, and Mara, to answer your question, to me, like I think Tanner Tomasi always comes to mind when it comes to people. Like if you're to say, I think Zane's advice is better, but if you're asking who do you need to watch, like actually as a creator, I think Tanner's good because I think Tanner's like the kindergarten teacher of pickleball, right? And so I think so many people overcomplicate things and because they know so much, right? And just because you know so much doesn't mean you need to explain it all. And the fact that his videos start at 60 seconds, you can only get one or two things out of a video at a time.
Right.
And he breaks it down like you don't understand anything. It's like the, you know, explain it to me like I'm 5 version of pickleball. Like, this is how you move your feet in 60 seconds. And there's like 2 things. And you're like, so a lot of people are like, oh, this is it's so lame, so boring, so, you know, whatever. But that's what pretty much most people should probably watch one of those and then just implement that. And then, you know, go watch his long form, which is probably pretty similar. And the hard thing is when it comes to paddle reviews, I don't think there's like a 3-5 level paddle reviewer. Like there's not a paddle reviewer or gear reviewer that is good for someone who is new or someone who is kind of like that beginner intermediate. So like I think Chris Olsen is really good and really engaging, and like he knows his stuff, right? But there's probably like something that you have to do beforehand before you get to Chris. Chris is like, paddle review 201. There is no paddle reviewer 101. And so I think that's the problem is like nobody when it comes to gear has figured out how to articulate and they explain it to me like I'm 5 version of a paddle. Because I think the hard thing is there are people that don't know shit about paddles and they want to sell the paddle with their code and they just say this paddle is really good and that's it, right? And that doesn't actually provide any value. And then there's Chris and John Q and there's like, here's my Q core score, whatever, and I got a ball blaster and I do this, and then you're like, okay, like that's for another audience. What's in the middle? You know what I mean? Like where's the middle ground? And so that's like something that I want.
Got a ball blaster too, but that's neither here nor there.
The ball blaster right in the middle.
Yeah, the ball blaster. So I think we need more people in the middle ground when it comes to gear review. And so that's like something that I want to do, like goals for the future. Like I've had this goal like sitting in my 2026 goals, which was to create 1 YouTube video a week. And I've definitely been failing that for 2026. But if I could create something like that, like I think that there's voices like either mine or, Nikki is something that you can do to figure out what the middle ground is that can get people from non-helpful reviews to overly helpful reviews and find the Goldilocks.
Yeah. Nico, I feel like you've been reading through my message or something. I actually have that about to launch. So I don't know that I'm going to be the one to do it by any means.
Let's go.
But that's exactly what I'm working on right now. And also YouTube videos in that form are horrible. They are so terrible to shoot and to edit and to all of that. That is like the hardest content. So props to anybody who's making that content. And so when you're ready to start, Nico, that is an undertaking.
And the thing is, there can be more than one. You could do it. I could do it. You can be the great of these reviews. I'll be the John Q. Nobody needs to be the Chris Olsen.
There we go. Stay away. I got a question for you really quick. And I know Mari's going to ask one non-pickleball, but what's the content? I know we're kind of heading in that direction, but what's the content that you cannot stand to watch? What type of content? And this is also Chris and Jimmy off the table, not specifics, because we already know that you can't stand them. But what's the type of content that you're just like, oh?
I mean, for me, like, first off, I actually really don't consume very much pickleball content, but I don't like content that is based in, and unfortunately there's not too much of this, but I can't stand either the gossip or people who, and there's very little of this, but I actually started roasting other people online in a content series that I've got, people who put out instructional stuff that's just bad. It drives me crazy because like there are ways to game social media where you can get a clip. If you're a contrarian and you're completely wrong, you can get views and get a ton of that out there. And you can screw up a lot of people's pickleball games who are now, hitting backhands like this every time and waiting like this because it helps one particular part of your game. Like it drives me crazy when there's the YouTube videos or short videos that are just wrong in terms of the advice that they're giving people.
I don't like angry video. I don't like people that are negative. Like that's and you can read between the lines of whoever that kind of person is. But if you're like, I hate this thing, or let me complain about this thing, or let me roast somebody or get mad, like I don't know. I the negative energy for the most part usually bothers me. I also hate when one person blasts another person online. Like,
Chris?
That's fun. No, the thing is, like, when Zane and Chris, like, I feel like both of them can enjoy that experience, but like when it's one-sided, it's kind of like it's weird. I don't know. I don't get it. So it happens a lot, but like that's the kind of content that I don't really enjoy. And then I'll just say I think I don't know if I enjoy it too much either, but like the content that I'll never make are funny skits, and I find a lot of them are not funny. Like I don't know. Like I enjoy less and less of the skits. Some of them
we
are
can't all be Juan Sean. We can't all be, man.
No, you can't all be one. But some of them are hilarious. Like the one, Zane, I'm sure you've seen it, where the guy is in bed and he's like how he figures out how to hit a backhand flick. Like
That's
was
crazy.
The funniest video I've ever seen online ever. That's great, but majority of them I'm just like, oh man, you guys create so much content, like mass produce, and you just can't hit all of these funny videos. And like I said, I'll never do it because it takes too much time, energy. I'm not talented enough. But so those are lower on my totem pole.
That's a great call about the negative content though, because I think that it gets so many hits. That stuff gets so many hits, and it's just like, oh man, it's like it's hard to watch. So yeah. I totally agree with that. Mari, you wanna?
Yeah, no, I'm just thinking about the video I posted yesterday that I did start negatively, but it changed. Okay, Nico, so don't hate me for it. I said I hate when people say it's their partner's fault
Oh
when
yeah,
they're
that's fair.
playing,
Yeah.
and
Well,
then
I
I
mean,
flipped to here's how you select a partner and stop being that person. So
that's
I
I
do
mean, that's
start a lot
actually,
of mine with the negative and then go to the
yeah. Get to the
positive.
positive. Yeah.
Look, a
Uh,
negative take is different than like just trashing on somebody
right.
entirely. I think that's yeah.
Well, you're basically doing exactly what I said, which is hating on the people that are haters. So, you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
I agree. I was like, I've been wanting to create a video for the longest time about partners. It's like, you should never make fun of your partner because either
Nico,
one, it was your choice to play with them, or two, you know, just
exactly.
like, I don't know, like if you don't like the partner, just leave. You know what I mean? Like, if
No,
no
like,
one did, this is your
it's
fault.
a huge
Someone
pet peeve that
someone did do that to me once.
Someone
yeah.
did leave if they didn't like Nikki and they left, and I guess maybe shout out to them. I don't know.
No, I literally go ask a student, "Hey, how was your last tournament?" It's like, "Oh, well, my partner was really bad." It's like, "What? I just asked how your last tournament was. Why are you telling me your partner was really bad? Like, that's not the question I asked. Period.
Exactly.
Let's try again. How was your last tournament?" So, anyways, pet peeve of mine, and I'm trying to
You
get
talking to
people to
Zane's partner?
realize that.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's what Zane says about me, and it's definitely the other way around. But you know, hey, we have
I
fun
have
out there playing. It was actually great to share the court with Zane again.
it was
Shocking
fun.
take.
We somehow got way better at our mixed doubles chaos without playing with each other for like 18
Yeah,
months.
I
Like
think we
it's
understand each
actually
other pretty well.
controlled chaos now. Yeah.
Yeah. No, we both go a little crazy. Like even, I mean, Zane just cracked me up in the middle of the match because I say, "All right, Zane, controlled chaos this point," and then I'm in mid court and I send a full bag, and he looks at me, he goes, "Oh yeah, that was controlled chaos." Like,
I will
sorry,
say
it was so tempting.
the other thing that's so amazing to watch the two of you is you're like on court trolling. It's like not even like chirping. It's like legit trolling is elite. Call it out. Call it out. Yeah, like just I mean just everything of the two of you. It's so much fun to watch.
It is cool
Mari
because Zane
knows.
and I are actually. Yeah, go ahead, Zane.
I was on a heater on that match.
Man, that was
The
good.
thing
That
is,
was a good one.
that seemed like a 13-11 like tight match that really mattered. We lost 11-4, you know, but it felt like we were in it the whole time. The
Now
thing
here's
is,
the thing.
even in our we got pickled, and I still had fun playing, and I thought we had good points. Like Zane and I literally just, if you look at us, we're both smiling pretty much the entire match because we're cracking jokes at each other and having fun. So it's good.
Yeah. Well, we were both just taking Jay de Villiers' French. Anyway,
Just accepting it. Yeah.
there was nothing we could do on that one, to be honest.
Good job, Jay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways, yeah, this is awesome. I love to hear other people's insight on this, and obviously we have a bit of a similar situation here, representing the women. That's not a lot of us out there here. So Nikki and I have this going now, and we appreciate you all coming out here. I think we do have a similar setup. Obviously, I'm much cooler than Zane. Nikki and Nico, you're both pretty cool. So we'll call it about the same there. So we basically have you beat because of me. So shout out me.
I agree.
Anyways, I'm gonna get to
I also agree. Actually,
I'm going to get to my non-pickleball question. So, Nico and Zane, this is our podcast called 99%. So, we do talk about pickleball 99% of the time. 1% is non-pickleball related. I am in charge of coming up with a non-pickleball related question. And Zane and I have shared a lot of meals together, and I'm thinking about food at the moment because I'm going to have breakfast after this. So, this is going to be a food related question. Nico, Zane, and Nikki, you're going to have to answer this as well. If you had to eat one food only for the rest of your life, this includes breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Okay, you only get to have one meal every single day for the rest of your life. What would it be?
Give me, is it the same? Can I say sandwich and get different sandwiches all the time?
Nope. You'd have to have the same sandwich.
I would probably still say a potbelly, turkey, avocado, hot pepper with lettuce, tomato, onion, oregano on wheat bread, so it's healthy, and a little bit of oil. I could eat that from Potbelly for the rest of my life and be
Zane,
a
how are you
happy
gonna turn on Panera like that? How are you gonna do
I do
Panera
love
like
Panera.
that?
But here's the thing. I can't be eating that Chipotle chicken, egg, and avocado as I need more food groups. There's no veggies in there. Is avocado a vegetable? I don't know. And nor do I care, okay? I know that lettuce is a vegetable. I actually have no idea the status of tomato these days, but I know that there's some vegetables on my Potbelly.
Okay,
But
Potbelly.
that is a fair question.
That's
That is a fair question, Nikki.
Good answer, Zane. All right, Nico, do you have yours?
Yeah, 100%. This is easy. This is a carne asada burrito. You know, no rice, mission style, beans, carne asada,
You're just gonna skip on the carbs for the rest of your life?
I got a tortilla. There's a tortilla, so that's
True.
all the carbs I need. But yeah, I could eat burritos forever. And there's actually like, I think maybe it's not like 15 years ago now, there was 538, which is like a website that does like a lot of like stat stuff or whatever. They did a burrito bracket for like the 64 best burritos in the country. They had this whole like, method on how to come up with the 64. They got them regionally, and then there was like a March Madness style bracket where one person went everywhere in the country to eat them. The best burrito ended up being in San Francisco on Mission Street. It's called La Taqueria. If you've never been there, then you're missing out. But if you have to, like, this is like a life-altering experience. It's almost like, religious, a La Taqueria carne asada burritos. But anyway, my point is that I love burritos so much that I went to like 34 of these different burrito places on the burrito bracket. I haven't hit them all yet, but
That's
like
crazy.
I've gone to one in Philadelphia,
Wow.
I've gone to one in Chicago, I've gone to like the 20 that are in California for the most part. And I will die on the hill that burritos from California are better than anywhere else in the country and better than anything in Mexico. Because Mexico doesn't really make burritos, but
Yeah.
like California burritos, and specifically Mission style California burritos, which come from San Francisco, that'd be my one choice.
Wow, Nico, you have been bracing yourself for this one question.
You've been ready for this question your
Questions
whole
that
life.
I'm like, I know the answer to this question. Dave Portnoy said pizza.
Who's going to ask me?
I would be the burrito of Dave Portnoy. One bite, everybody knows the rules. I could eat that burrito all day.
Wow. All right, Nikki.
Oh, my Lord. Well, I think I'm just jonesing for this because of the NBA Finals right now. As a San Antonio Spurs fan growing up in Texas, I would say I would want a good Texas barbecue meal. So, and that's because you said meal, not one type of food in particular. So,
Yeah.
So I would say the meal.
But it has to be the same plate.
That's fine. That's fine. So yeah, I would have. I mean, the
Strict
good thing.
rules here.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, because you're gonna have your main, right? You're gonna have your brisket. Which,
Brisket.
if
Okay,
you're
I
gonna
was
choose
waiting what the
anything
main
else,
was. It's definitely brisket.
if you're gonna choose anything else, like get out of here, turkey, whatever that turkey barbecue stuff is. No, brisket's got to be brisket. We're gonna get maybe some let's get some greens in there. Let's get some like collard greens or something in there. We'll have probably some I think I'm gonna actually choose beans over mac and cheese for this one. Yeah, that's gonna be a tough one, but a little bit of cornbread, some tortillas, or actually the way that you're gonna do it in Texas, if you're gonna do it the real Texas style, is some white bread. So
Yep.
they give you like
All
literally
right.
in a just like in like
In a
rolled
bag.
up
Yeah, some Wonder
in a
Bread.
bag, a loaf of bread, some Wonder Bread. Yeah, you just get a couple of slices of Wonder Bread in there. Some Big Red. I have to have a nice little
Oh,
Big
yeah.
Red on the side.
Big Red. Nice.
Yeah. So I think I just need some Texas barbecue.
Okay.
Fair
Well,
enough.
mine's easy. Brazilian meal every time. I'm gonna have rice, beans, some picanha. It's a cut of meat in Brazil. It's my favorite, and some mashed potatoes with it would be my choice. So rice, beans, mashed potatoes, and steak. I could eat that for every meal.
So
for the
not
rest of my life.
feijoada?
Not feijoada. That would be heavy for like
Yeah.
an everyday for the rest of your life thing.
Nikki just picked brisket.
Look, that was a personal choice.
I'm here for a good time, not a long
living with the
time.
Yeah, no, feijoada is really good. Obviously, I'm being very spoiled right now with all the Brazilian food. I've been here for a week. I have another week before I go back. Going straight to St. Pete. I promise I'll be trained, Zane. I have practice in 2 hours. All right, you all did really good in your non-pickleball questions, so I'm glad I asked about food. This was the right group for it.
The moment.
As you can tell, I
Guys,
like food. So
Yes.
the Zane points out.
Yeah.
You've just caused a Lefty reset relapse for Nico.
Relapse.
Yeah,
Oh, I
for
know. You know
real.
where I'm going right now. It is 7:13, and I'm going to go find a carne asada burrito right now.
Get it all back. My God. Well, you guys are so awesome. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for doing this at such an early time in the day. I just want to, again, commend you both. What you're doing is, I'd say, like truly pioneering the social media space, the podcast space, all of that. Everybody always talks about what I heard somebody say it the other day. Was it Ava Ignatowicz? It basically said something like most podcasts are like a pro and some guy. And and now, Mara, here we are. It's like, I guess I'm some guy now for this. But the way that you guys are doing it is actually entertaining. It's educational. It's informative. It's a little dramatic. I like it. It's good stuff. Nico, also, if you haven't heard already, I always shout you out because you're the reason why I'm doing this stuff. We met last year
Let's
at
go.
MLP in New York, and I was literally thinking about starting an account, and I was like on the fence. And the moment that I met you, I was like, okay, this is it. So you've created a monster. So thank you for that.
Anytime. I love hearing that story. Every time I hear it, I'm like, save this video, send it to my family. That whole weekend was a blur. I was like so afraid that I was like, I had a, like a 5-month-old in Central Park for 8 hours a day in the heat while watching pickleball, and I was just hoping that she didn't have a complete meltdown. And so, but
It
I
was
do
hot.
remember. I remember
Yeah.
'cause I met Nikki like 2 minutes after meeting Samin, and I was like, I think I like her a little bit more.
Ooh.
Just
I'll
kidding.
take
No,
that.
Samin was like, I'm so glad you're here. And then Nikki's like, I should do content. I was like,
It's
yes,
not
let's
the
do
voice.
it.
Not the voice.
Zane, that was good. You've been training him.
Spot on. Spot on. I
No,
will say one thing really quickly, Nico, even though I met you back then, what's crazy is I didn't even realize how tall you are until we met again in Newport, where I was just like, how the hell is this guy so like what 6'5" or something? This is crazy.
With the 6'5" with the hair, probably 6'4" in reality. So
Oh my
so like Zane's
God.
height.
I must have been because I
that
was
was
up on the
what's on Zane's Hinge
bleachers.
profile. Yeah.
Yes. Oh
Oh,
man.
wow. I just want to repeat everything that Nikki just said there. Thank you to you too. Obviously, Nikki, we got to have dinner with the legend, Andrea Coop, as well. Recently, that was the
Yeah.
first time I actually got to chat with you. It was the four of us at dinner. Zane was there too.
One day, maybe in like 2035, we can have the conversation we had at dinner on a podcast because that was one of my
Ooh.
favorite dinner podcasts
Hey,
ever.
we have some, I mean,
Learning,
that crew
learning
right
from
there.
there's the metric system and the standard system, and then there's the Mari scale that she told me about. And my gosh, I had told so many people about that scale.
Hey, how great. I mean, that was a fun dinner. I got to know Nico a little bit more, and I was like, all right, I like this guy. I guess we can talk a little more. And obviously, Zane and I, unfortunately, are good friends. I think Zane is someone I call a friend off the court, much more because of his wife. Jenny and I get along really, really well. So
She's my one
thank you to
redeeming
you.
quality.
She is.
Actually, you got the dogs too. So
Dogs are pretty
No,
cute.
thank you to you two for doing this. Whenever you want us on your pod, we're in. All right, just count us in. We'll be there, and you can
Schedule
ask
it.
us all the hot topics you want. I am pretty unfiltered. I think Nikki is too. So we'll do our best. But yeah, thank you too. We appreciate you being here.
Yeah.
It's
yeah,
way too
appreciate
early
you
there,
having
Nico.
us.
Go eat a burrito.
Right.
Best of luck with 99% pickleball. Excited for that. So
Appreciate you
Thanks,
guys.
Zane.
That totally made Zane's day that you were there in a totally different part of the world, taking time out of your morning to talk to him. How nice of you was that?
He's just honored. Every time I pick up the phone and actually respond to his text, he's got to be
Mm.
so happy. So this is a
Big
big deal for
smile.
him.
Mhm.
But for Nico, I mean, what a guy. It's just, you got to do it for him.
Yeah. He's 6 o'clock in the morning, I think is what time we started over there for him. Yeah, he was up early.
I
But
think 5 even.
maybe 5. Yeah. Dude doesn't sleep. But so honored to have them on. I think it's just like, it's so fun because I feel like I am, pretty well connected with Nico. Obviously, you're like attached to the hip with Zane against your will, maybe. But I think it's just so fun to have them on here. Some of the takes they say, some of the stuff there's some stuff that they say when the cameras aren't rolling that I'm just like, oh my God, get the cameras. These guys are hot takes left and right.
Yeah, they definitely are. I think, yeah, first of all, very enjoyable conversation. I think we tried to focus more on the content side, which is something that the four of us have been taking pretty seriously for the past at least a few months. I know that you're the newer one to it, Nikki, so welcome to the squad.
How
But
crazy is this that Nico started just a little bit before me?
right.
Content wise, his blow up is just mind blowing. Like you can't believe how quickly this guy took over the scene. Yeah.
No, it's awesome. It's awesome to see because again, the genuine just reviews and talking about things that the two of you do is just very cool. It's an angle that the pros don't really do. I tried, but it's more of a, instructional and talking about my experience in tournaments and things like that. But we're not out there in the open plays and in the amateur world to be able to talk about these things. So it's very cool to see you two doing it.
Yeah. And always cool to see you on Pickleball TV. Chirping away.
Hey,
Chirping away.
exactly. We're trying. Okay. All right, Nikki, let's do our takeaways from this episode. Do you want to start us off this time?
Yeah. It's funny. I was shocked that nobody knew what parasocial relationships were because I thought that was more of a common thing. But I was like, what? But no, what I find particularly interesting is that these guys really are connectors, and the pickleball world the pickleball world altogether is, while growing so rapidly, still so small. And the social media community is such a small world. And like, you really do meet so many people online that you feel like you've known forever, which is just crazy. But I just want to give, like a shout out to these guys for truly continuing to do that, continuing to build, continuing to talk to people, like Nico so eloquently put it, as if they're best friends, right? And building that community. They actually have, I don't know if you know that, you know this because you're in it. They have this Discord, this like conversation chat thing. I don't know what you would technically call a Discord, but it is
channel?
a channel. Yeah, I guess you would call it a channel. And that thing is on fire. Like, it is just constantly, people are in there chatting with each other, chatting with them. And it's not like they just started this thing and then like let it go and let the community talk. Like, these guys are super, super active in there. And it is so cool to see their fans and their followers engage in there. And the stuff that they say is also hilarious. So if you're not part of this Discord, I think it's called Pro Pickleball Talk, you have to get in there. It is so much fun. You might have to mute your notifications because it is actually that just chaotic and engaging. Let's call it that. But I just want to, give them props for that. The way that they are taking this seriously, they're not taking it lightly, that they are building community, that they're connecting with people, they're growing this game from two different angles in the best possible way, in a really positive way. So yeah, shout out to them for that. Good stuff.
Yeah, I thought there was a lot of really cool information that we talked about there too. I'm fascinated by the content world. I worked in marketing for years before this, and I think just hearing about the whys that they do the stuff the way that they do, right? Zane is kind of the dinosaur of pickleball. He's been around since forever, and he kind of started content in pickleball. So he's changed the way he does it based on how the audience is responding. So that's pretty cool to see, just the journey that he took with starting with instructional and kind of switching over to now his recaps of the pro world. And then just to see someone like Nico rise. And I was really curious about his thoughts on this, which was the how to use affiliate marketing and how to get those commissions, and just his thoughts on, I see all these codes for paddles from reviewers, and it's not genuine a lot of times because they just need to talk about these and get the sales, and that's how they make their living, which I understand. But I really enjoyed listening to his side of, hey, I rep two brands. I really like their paddles, and I say why I like their paddles. I don't know about swing weight. I don't know about the composition of the paddle or whatever it might be, but it's the paddles I enjoy playing with. So I enjoyed hearing about that side of it, and just their thoughts on kind of what people should be doing when they come into the sport. Nikki, I am going to hold you to it. I'd like to see you fill that gap for the 3-5s that are looking for that paddle, that are looking for that gear. Someone's got to do it.
Man, you put me on the spot. But yes, I mean, look at all these things I have stacked up over here. I can talk about so many of them, and I actually am. That's the plan, as I am actually about to pump out content like crazy with these reviews. And I think, I loved how Nico phrased it, the Voldemort. What's funny is I didn't understand half of that language that he was saying about the Voldemort. What do you call it? The Elder One or something like that.
Elder One, and then he talked about Slytherin. He went to Harry Potter. He was all over the place, but I was like, wow, he's got this down.
He got this down, but you know what? That is the language people speak, and we need more of that. It made sense to people. I understood what he was saying, even though I don't follow the Harry Potter world that way. Anyways, don't worry, I will take care of you 3-5s. I'll get you the right paddles. I will always say it authentically. Although if anybody does want to pay me money to paddle review, I'm happy to do that. But I'm always going to be honest. That was a fun one. I can't wait to be on their pod. That's going to be awesome. But I think we have to go up there and show the world what the girls do, right? We got to show them the other side of things, and maybe show the guys a thing or two as well.
Absolutely. This was a really fun one. Again, kind of Zane and I with our dynamic, you and Nico with your dynamic. So this one felt a little special. And yeah, as always, Nikki, another one in the books. Just looking forward to
another one in the books.
Our upcoming ones. I can't get enough.
Which, by the way,
pickleball.
You can catch every Thursday. If you haven't already caught on to this, you can listen to us anywhere that you can listen to podcasts.
All the
Spotify,
places.
Apple.
And shout out to Empower Pickleball for making all this possible. Could not be here without them. Shout out to the entire team. We have the best squad behind us. We're just the pretty faces.
We're just, yeah. We're just here to, the pretty faces,
voices.
Pretty voices. Yeah, I was going to say the voices. What if they can't see us? We have nice voices, but Empower.
Go on YouTube.
But
go look at our
Empower
reaction.
is the power behind all. Yeah, exactly. You can listen, and then you can go watch and listen. But shout out to Empower. Thank you all for helping us make this, for you all doing the magic, really, really making this thing happen behind the scenes. So yeah, every Thursday, catch us. And sometimes we do live chats, so be on the lookout for that. And we will see you again in a week.
Next week.